Imagine standing at the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza at sunrise, the last golden rays sliding down limestone blocks older than most civilizations. Now, imagine the scientists pointing not to the visible stones, but to a ghostly shape buried beneath the sand. An L-shaped dark void that might lead to something nobody has seen in 4,500 years. A secret chamber? A lost tomb? Or a natural crack misread by modern machines? Today, we pull back the dust, the headlines, and the speculation, and follow the clues, from radar blips to ancient blueprints, to ask, is there really a portal beneath the pyramids? In the next 15 minutes, we'll explain what the scientists actually found and how they found it, walk through the most believable archaeological explanations, examine the wild portal theories and why they spread so fast, and lay out what comes next, how researchers will test the mystery, and what it could mean if a chamber is really waiting beneath the sand. Buckle up, we're going underground. Before diving into buried anomalies, a quick primer. The Great Pyramid, Khufu's pyramid, is the largest tomb ever built in ancient Egypt. For centuries, it has been the ultimate symbol of engineering precision, aligned to the cardinal points, built from millions of limestone blocks, and housing internal passages, chambers, and mysteries that have fascinated explorers and scientists for generations. Archaeologists know the main internal spaces, the King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber, and the Grand Gallery, but beneath and around the pyramid, the rock and sand hide a more complex story of architecture, burial rituals, and lost corridors. These subterranean spaces are where modern tech often finds surprises. Recently, research teams used non-invasive methods, ground-penetrating radar, GPR, electrical resistivity tomography, ERT, and seismic imaging, around the Great Pyramid and reported an anomaly, an L-shaped structure or void in the subsurface, with a distinct resistive signature suggesting a cavity or different material than the surrounding substrate. In simple terms, sensors sent signals into the ground and returned echoes that don't match normal bedrock or sand. The shape and depth were unusual enough to make headlines, and enough to spark the portal language that lit up social media. But remember, a radar echo is an echo, not an open door. Let's demystify the tech. Ground-penetrating radar sends radio waves into the Earth. When those waves hit a change in material, rock to air or sand to stone, part of the signal bounces back. Electrical resistivity maps measure how well the ground conducts electricity. Cavities often show up as high resistance because air doesn't conduct like water or rock. Seismic methods record tiny waves traveling through the ground. Different layers and empty spaces alter wave speed. Each method has strengths and blind spots, so researchers usually combine them. Overlapping signals that point to the same feature increase confidence. But even combined, these tools can produce false positives. Unusual soil moisture, buried modern debris, or survey artifacts can mimic a cavity. If the anomaly is real, what could it be? Here are the most plausible archaeological explanations, ranked from conservative to more speculative. 1. A previously unknown chamber or corridor. Ancient builders sometimes left or sealed spaces for ritual reasons or later expansions. 2. A storage or workspace. Construction-era voids used by builders, later filled or hidden. 3. A natural cavity in the bedrock, geological voids that ancient architects built around. 4. A ritual or symbolic void, a purposefully empty space with symbolic meaning in funerary architecture. 5. A modern disturbance, an old excavation pit or modern infrastructure hidden by sand. Each option carries different archaeological expectations. A chamber might yield pottery, inscriptions, or structural features. A natural void would show irregular walls and no artifacts. The only way to know is careful, minimally invasive follow-up, not sensational headlines. If you love mysteries like this, hit subscribe and ring the bell. We dive into discoveries like this every week. Now, back to the pyramid. Why did the phrase portal spread so quickly? 2 reasons. Sensational language attracts clicks, and ancient mysteries are fertile ground for supernatural spin. A short headline, "Portal found beneath Giza," travels faster than a cautious press release. Add a few speculative YouTube shorts or TikToks showing dramatic animations, and a viral loop is born. Social platforms prioritize engagement, not accuracy, so a few dramatic visuals plus a catchy hook can create the perception of proof even when scientists are still debating method and significance. In other words, virality is not the same as verification. Historically, Egyptian funerary architecture is full of surprises. Tombs were often reused, chapels added, and secret storerooms concealed. The idea of sealed rooms is not science fiction. Howard Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun's intact tomb in 1922 shocked the world precisely because it preserved a sealed context. The pyramids themselves had false doors, air shafts, and sealed corridors possibly designed to confuse tomb robbers or to play a role in the pharaoh's symbolic journey to the afterlife. So, a secret chamber is plausible. But whether it contains treasure, texts, or empty ritual space is another question entirely. Archaeologists are cautiously optimistic but emphasize protocol. Non-invasive surveys are a discovery tool, not proof. The next steps usually include higher resolution imaging, precise mapping, and only then targeted minimally invasive probes. In some cases, tiny boreholes and fiber optic cameras are used to peer into a cavity before any larger excavation. That conservative approach protects context. Once you break into a chamber, you permanently alter the archaeological record. Responsible teams will prioritize data collection and peer review before announcing sensational claims. Let's play the if game carefully. If a chamber lies beyond that L-shaped anomaly, we might expect 1. Construction debris or tools from the pyramid's building phase. 2. Ceramic fragments or offerings left by ritual participants. 3. Structural beams or blocking stones used to seal passages. 4. Inscriptions or graffiti from later workers. 5. Less likely, an intact royal burial. The Great Pyramid has been pillaged for millennia, and its main burial chamber is well known. A second undiscovered royal tomb is possible but improbable. Archaeology rewards modest expectations. Even small finds, a pottery shard or a seal impression, can rewrite timelines. Conversely, an empty void is still data. It tells us about construction techniques in the ancient mind that conceived the pyramid. Let's be honest, the idea of a portal is irresistible. Portals connect to movies, myths, and the human love of gateways, places that lead to other worlds, gods, or forbidden knowledge. Ancient Egyptians themselves had a rich afterlife mythology, stars, boats, and journeys across cosmic seas. It's easy to superimpose modern fantasies onto ancient symbols. That said, the Romanticism frames public interest and can be harnessed positively to get people excited about archaeology, so long as we don't mistake fantasy for evidence. What happens next? Here's the standard scientific playbook. 1. Repeat the surveys with denser sampling and alternative methods to confirm the anomaly. 2. 3. Demodeling to create a precise map of the void. 3. Micro-drilling/core sampling, tiny boreholes to retrieve sediments or small artifacts and to insert endoscopic cameras. 4. Robotic exploration, If the borehole is big enough, a slender robot with cameras and lights can slip through and send back images. 5. Controlled excavation only if the evidence justifies it, and with full documentation and conservation plans. These methods are slow, expensive, and politically sensitive. Egypt protects its heritage fiercely, but they're how you convert a radar blip into a discovery. Why should we care? Beyond the headline value, finding a new chamber under Giza would deepen our understanding of ancient Egyptian engineering, ritual practices, and the logistical genius behind the pyramid complex. It could also spotlight how modern, non-invasive tech is changing archaeology, letting us survey the past without destroying context. For viewers, it's a reminder that our planet still hides secrets, and that curiosity, paired with careful science, remains one of our most powerful tools. If you want to follow this story in real time, watch for these signs: published peer-reviewed papers, high-resolution 3D models released by the research team, or footage from an exploratory borehole or robot. Ignore clickbait claiming instant broken-open chambers, unless it's backed by the data. Science is slower than social media, but its confirmations last. When the specialists speak, listen, and then celebrate the discovery with them. So, is there a portal beneath the pyramids? Right now, the answer is, we don't know. There's a promising signal, real science happening, and a world of possibility. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give the video a thumbs up, comment with the theory you think is most likely, and subscribe for follow-ups. We'll track the story as it develops and bring you the evidence when it arrives. Until then, keep asking questions. The past still has stories to tell.